One of the other things I want to go ahead and do before I get too far along is hook up the speedometer cable and put that old speedometer I got in here. The speedometer cable ain't going to fit. I've already figured that out. I ordered kind of a regular old universal plain old run-of-the-mill type speedometer cable. It don't fit that little gear thing that comes out of that transmission. I'm thinking about trying to refabricate the end on that thing and make it work anyway, because that's the kind of guy I am. I might work on that a little bit later today. Would be kind of fun to have that old big speedometer in there. It's a pretty thing. Let me get it. One of the reasons I bought it is because it's a good old-fashioned speedometer, and it literally is old-fashioned. I'm willing to bet this thing is circa World War II or so. Let me get that right in there. And I got some other gauges that kind of match that. I'm going to be styling, ain't no doubt about it. I'm going to be styling. Okay, this is cool. This is how a speedometer works. There's a cable that comes out of the back of it, and there's inside of this little hose is a wire cable. And when that cable turns, the speedometer turns. I'm going to try to spin it with my fingers. You see the speedometer jump when I do that with my fingers? That's all that makes it work, is the transmission turns that. And what turns it is that on the transmission there's a gear that goes into the transmission gears. It fits into this piece right here, which goes into the side of your transmission. There's a couple of clamps down there that hold it into the side of the transmission. There's the spot right there. You can really touch it oil. And then this connects over it, and that cable goes right up in the end of this. Now the thing I was running into with this thing, I'm going to set the camera over here and try to talk about this while I'm showing it to you, is that I couldn't get the cable to go in here, and it would go in so far and stop, and I thought it was a different size, but when I looked at this, I didn't see any kind of shape on the end of that, and I was thinking, well, what's going on there? Well, I looked in there and it looked like there was something in there, so I took my drill and drilled down in there. A bunch of crap came out. I think maybe the old cable, part of the old cable was down in there, so I was able to drill it out, which allows me to get this all the way on there, so that when that turns, you can see the speedometer there, that's working. So that's excellent news, because basically all I have to do is put this all back together and put it back in the transmission and hook the cable to it, and then run the cable up and hook the speedometer to it, and now it's working good. So I'm going to put it all back together. Okay, I'm going to give that speedometer a test run, and I've jacked the back wheels off the ground here so that I can rev this thing up a little bit. There we go, first gear. I'll be on the second gear. I'd call that a success. Next thing I'm going to do is, this isn't bolted in right now, so I'm going to pull this out, disconnect the cable, make me a bracket. You see these two screws here? It needs to have a bracket made that'll go to both those screws, come in behind this and hold it up against the back of the firewall. I'm going to make that bracket next, and then put this back in and bolt it in place. I'll probably reroute the cable. Here's the cable down here where it comes out of the transmission. It runs under the frame, and I'll probably, right now it's kind of on top of the frame over here, so I'll probably feed it through, get it down underneath the floor, and have it come up around the back side of the firewall up there and up through there in a way that I can get it all into place good, where it's safe and out of sight, and then Then we'll test it again. If everything's good, we'll have it bolted in and move on to the next project.